Okay, let's dive right into this because it's a fascinating puzzle about how we humans manage to coordinate with each other. It's a thought experiment that, honestly, reveals something pretty profound about how our minds work together, even when we have absolutely no way to communicate.
So I want you to really imagine this for a second. You and a good friend are dropped, completely separately, into a huge, unfamiliar city. Let's say Paris or New York. You've got no phones, no way to call or text, no prearranged plan. Could you actually find each other?
Now, your first reaction is probably, no way, right? It sounds completely hopeless. You'd just be two tiny specks in a giant metropolis. Finding each other would be pure, random, miraculous luck.
But here's the crazy part. The odds are actually, believe it or not, overwhelmingly good that you would find each other. See, the truth is, we're all kind of hardwired with a secret tool for solving exactly this kind of problem.
And no, it's not about luck, and it's definitely not about being psychic. It's all about this invisible map that exists inside all of our heads. It's a map built from our shared culture, our common knowledge, and all our little biases. And this shared map creates this incredible unspoken stability within groups.
So, let's go back to that thought experiment. If you were in Paris, where would you go? Come on, you know the answer. You'd head straight for the most obvious, iconic landmark you can think of, the Eiffel Tower. And what time? Well, noon just feels like the default, doesn't it? If you were in New York, same logic. You'd probably find yourself heading to Times Square right around noon. Without exchanging a single word, most of us just naturally land on the same solution.
So this whole phenomenon actually has a name. Game theorists call it a focal point, or sometimes a Schelling point. And it's just what it sounds like. It's a solution that people naturally gravitate towards when they can't talk, simply because it feels special, or obvious, or just sticks out to everyone involved.
But here's the thing. It's not just as simple as pick the most famous landmark. There's a much deeper and frankly much cooler psychological process going on under the surface.
The anthropologist Robin Dunbar really hit the nail on the head. He said we spend a huge amount of our time essentially trying to get inside other people's heads to figure out what they're going to do. You're not just thinking about what you would do. You're trying to figure out what your friend is thinking.
And this is where that mental loop kicks in. It's a recursive process, and it's kind of wild. It goes like this. I'm not just guessing where you might go. I'm guessing where you think I will go. And then it gets even deeper. I'm guessing what you're guessing I'm gonna do. This whole loop forces both of us to just throw out any clever or personal or obscure ideas and land on the one single solution we know is obvious to both of us.
And by doing that, we magically turn an impossible guessing game into a solvable coordination game. We're using that shared cultural map to find a focal point, creating this little sweet spot where we're most likely to succeed. So, you might be wondering, is this just some neat human trick? Are we the only ones who can do this? Well, not even close. This instinct for coordination goes way, way deeper than you might think.
As it turns out, the animal kingdom is absolutely packed with these incredible examples of complex coordination, and it often happens without any leader or any direct communication at all.
And if you want to see the real masters at work, look no further than social insects like ants and bees. They operate in these huge decentralized groups, but they still manage to solve unbelievably complex problems. There is no queen ant with a clipboard directing traffic. The whole thing just emerges.
For example, and get this, researchers have watched ant colonies, with no single architect or blueprint, collectively decide to put their cemeteries at the point furthest from the nest, and then they put their trash heap at the spot that is the furthest away from both the nest and the cemetery. They're solving a complex spatial logistics problem with zero top-down management. How wild is that?
So, okay, this brings us right back to you. Because this isn't just a fun theory about lost tourists or super smart ants. It is a fundamental part of your everyday social life. You are constantly using this invisible social radar.
Seriously, just think about it. That moment when you're with friends and everyone says, "I don't care, where do you want to eat?" How do you finally pick a restaurant? You eventually land on an obvious default choice. Merging into traffic? That is a high-speed, high-stakes coordination game you play with strangers. Or what about getting separated at a crowded concert? You instinctively know to meet up at the main entrance or by the giant Ferris wheel. You rely on these shared cultural magnets all the time without even thinking about it.
At the end of the day, these focal points, these Schelling points, they're the silent, shared understanding that makes almost all cooperation possible. They are the invisible threads that hold our incredibly complex social world together, letting us navigate it with this surprising, unspoken efficiency.
Which brings us full circle. If you were dropped into your own city, where is that one place you just know, your friend would also choose? What is the ultimate focal point where you live? I'm genuinely curious to see the invisible maps from all over the world, so let me know in the comments.